Hey guys, it's Mrs. Smith here with microphone. I am here today in person to give you guys the information you need for your last GarageBand project. So far, you have made your name song, your word song, and that final song, and you learned that you need a melody track, a bass track, and a drum track for each song that you do in order for it to be a complete song. Your final project today this week is you are going to take a piece of art and you are going to make a soundscape for that piece of art. You can do it in any way you want. You can pick any piece of artwork. You can do as many tracks as you like. Just make sure you have a melody instrument, a drum, and a bass. I will show you guys what that meant for me in just a second. Now, if you are not up for looking at cool pieces of artwork, then I am going to give you guys some inspiration right now. I'm going to read you guys this book. It is called The Mysteries of Harris Burdick, and it's by Chris Van Allsburg. So this book comes with an introduction. Introduction. I first saw the drawings in this book a year ago in the home of a man named Peter Wenders. Though Mr. Wenders is retired now, he once worked for a children's book publisher, choosing the stories and pictures that would be turned into books. 30 years ago, a man called at Peter Wenders' office, introducing himself as Harris Burdick. Mr. Burdick explained that he had written 14 stories and had drawn many pictures for each one. He'd brought with him just one drawing from each story to see if Wenders liked his work. Peter Wenders was fascinated by the drawings. He told Burdick that he would like to read the stories that went with them as soon as possible. The artist agreed to bring the stories the next morning. He left the 14 drawings with Wenders, but he did not return the next day, or the day after that. Harris Burdick was never heard from again. Over the years, Wenders tried to find out who Burdick was and what had happened to him, but he discovered nothing. To this day, Harris Burdick remains a complete mystery. His disappearance is not the only mystery left behind. What were the stories that went with these drawings? There are some clues. Burdick had written a title and caption for each picture. When I told Peter Wenders how difficult it was to look at the drawings and their captions without imagining a story, he smiled and left the room. He returned with a dust-covered cardboard box. Inside were dozens of stories, all inspired by the Burdick drawings. They'd been written years ago by Wenders' children and their friends. I spent the rest of my visit reading these stories. They were remarkable, some bizarre, some funny, some downright scary. In the hope that other children will be inspired by them, the Burdick drawings are reproduced here for the first time. So, there are 14 pictures that come from 14 different stories. However, it's just one page per story. So here's some artwork to get you started. Archie Smith, boy wonder. A tiny voice asked, is he the one? Under the rug. 2 weeks passed, and it happened again. Yeah, we can see. A strange day in July. He threw with all his might, but the third stone came skipping back. Oops. Missing in Venice. Even with her mighty engines in reverse, the ocean liner was pulled further and further into the canal. Another place, another time. If there was an answer, he'd find it there. Uninvited guests. His heart was pounding. He was sure he had seen the doorknob turn. The harp. So it's true, he thought. It's really true. Oops. Mr. Linden's library. He had warned her about the book. Now it was too late. The 7 chairs. The 5th one ended up in France. This one's my favorite. The 3rd floor bedroom. It all began when someone left the window open. Just dessert. She lowered the knife and it grew even brighter. This one's spooky. Captain Torrey. He swung his lantern 3 times and slowly the schooner appeared. Oscar and Alphonse. She knew it was time to send them back. The caterpillars softly wiggled in her hand, spelling out goodbye. The house on Maple Street. It was a perfect liftoff. And that is the end. So these are some pieces of art that you can take inspiration from your GarageBand composition. The piece of art that I took inspiration from was, it's called Sunday Afternoon on the Island of Le Grand Jatte, and it is by, oh boy, it's by George, I forget, but you guys know the picture when you see it. So that is the picture that I took inspiration from. And my GarageBand composition is kind of a 3-parter. So let's see if I can play it for you over here real quick. So here is part 1 of my song. Oh, please work. Here it is. And then part 2 was like this. And then I had a 3rd part in addition, but it's very similar to the 3rd part. To the first part. So you guys see I have a couple melody instruments actually. I have piano and strings. I have my vintage drum kit for my drums. I have my upright bass for my bass, and then I actually added vocals in there, so I'm doing some oohing and ahhing and stuff. So, and like literally anything, like seriously, if you ask me, Mrs. Smith, can I do this? The answer is probably going to be yes. Like, can I do it off this piece of artwork? Yes, awesome. So I'm going to show you guys quick a few pieces of art that I am a fan of, just to get you guys going. And we're going to have to stop this in about 50 seconds. So this one's very famous, Salvador Dali, The Persistence of Memory. His stuff is very surreal, but I like it. It's very cool. Of course, Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. Super famous. Georgia O'Keeffe, she is famous for her nature paintings, especially her flowers. I love MC Escher, you guys. He's the one that does like the optical illusion paintings and drawings. Love him. And then we have The Last Supper by Da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci's awesome. And we've got nice. So the sky's the limit, you guys. Good luck.